What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Biblical Hitman. It's me, Steven. I got Jesse in the house. Taylor, unfortunately, is not here with us tonight. We're going to miss him. But joining us is DOENUT.
Yo, what up? It's DOENUT.
Let's go, man. Hey, I'm excited to have you on the show, man. But folks, if it's your first time or you're returning and you haven't done so and you want to support our show, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the show, share it with your friends, drop a comment down below about the things we're going to get into. And you also support our show on audio platforms as well, Spreaker, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. While you're there, we accept 5-star reviews only, and drop a comment on the episodes as well. But with all that behind us, DOENUT, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you. It's good to see both of you after the Bro Grove that we were hanging out with.
I know, man. It was awesome meeting you there, and it was like a fanboy moment. Not even gonna lie, because you have an awesome channel. Number one,
thank you.
You're like one of the forerunners of exposing Illuminati and getting into all of the things, man. And just for the folks that aren't familiar with your work, just plug your information and where they could find all your content and stuff.
It's DOENUT. You could catch all your Illuminati news at DOENUT, DOENUT.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So I'm happy to have you on. We're going to talk about many different topics. And real quick, the first questions I wanted to cover was, how did you come up with the name DOENUT?
Well, I was working at Costco as a vendor selling air conditioners, and I had a phone and a vaporizer before anyone knew what a vape was. So this was like 2012. You had to get it off the internet. And I was like, it'd be cool to write dough, like what up dough, and nut like DOENUT. And I wrote it down, and then life changed for me after that.
That's awesome, man. I mean, what got you into content creation? I mean, you have a huge channel, brother, and it's only growing, and you cover so much material. How did you get into all of that stuff? Conspiracies, Illuminati, all that.
It's actually collapsing. It's been collapsing for a long time. My views and everything is just going down in the gutter. But it is larger than it was when I started doing content creation, which was, I was into the conspiracy stuff and symbolism, but I was a producer for other YouTube channels. And when I was doing the editing, I would do editing weddings and film them and all that, music videos.
Oh, wow.
And when you're editing, you're alone. And so my friends were, the conspiracy podcast that I would listen to. And then when the world locked down, I started putting out videos, and they were getting more views than anything I've ever done in the history of my production. So I was like, oh, okay. And then it took off, and then I'm doing this full time now.
Right. You were really popular at one point, right, on Facebook.
I was popular. I was getting 1 million views, and then they removed that channel. I had 500,000, removed that channel.
Jeez.
Just over and over again. And then October 7th happened, and the whole truther community has pretty much left as well because I'm Jewish. So it's
wow.
I don't know what was more big of a hit. Was Google censoring me or the truther community leaving because I like to say Shabbat Shalom?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay. Right on, man. I mean, it's crazy the world we're living in, what we're present in at the time. It seems like there's an AI god kind of controlling the algorithms, and it's so funny. Everyone is submitting to it because, in a way, there's like no other choice, right? And I don't want to say like we're all submitting to it, but in a way we do have to work with the algorithms. What are your thoughts because I know you cover a lot of AI stuff, I know you cover a lot of Illuminati stuff, and we're going to get into a bunch of different topics, but just with the algorithms today, what do you think's kind of behind all of that?
So I'm into symbolism, numerology, all the different things that the elites utilize to harness, who knows, maybe some sort of power in their mind or something, or some sort of auto self-hypnosis that makes them feel good at night. I have no idea. But this number 19 is AI, right? So 1 is A in the ABCs, and I is 9. So AI is 1 9, it's 19. And 19 locked the entire world down where I got sent to my room like a bad boy. There was 19 people that hijacked a plane. So I'm like, what's up with all this, numbers with 19? But with AI, this is a tool that maybe has been used back in the ancient days. We could even get that far back, as there's even, I believe, in the scriptures, a city named AI, at least for a brief time. I think it like ended or something. But AI was released, ChatGPT, right after the lockdowns. And that is not a coincidence. They've been absolutely using Palantir, Gotham, all these different technologies during the lockdown. That's what that whole operation was used for, because we are in this fifth generation right now, fifth generation warfare, where every single thing is going to be like a tiptoe sort of in a process of what unfolds. So the lockdowns happened. That was an algorithm. Then right when they opened the world up, war. We got nothing but war. Then we got free speech again. So
Mm.
say all the stuff you want,
Right.
because that is data collection.
Hmm.
Data is the new gold mine. And the next move of AI is studying the environment. So when they have these protests that get launched off by the far left and George Soros types, they'll burn Waymo cars. That's Google. That is studying the environment. They're told to do that because it's gaining data for that. So all these things are happening. And AI, this is super important, because you kind of need to dominate AI if you want to be like a sovereign nation in a sense. So this, big, beautiful bill or the Genius Act, there's with the 10-year, which lands right before 2040, which is where Huval Harari or whatever that guy's name is, says there's going to be a new Homo sapien, a new species, which is this whole, transhumanism movement of
Right.
connecting human to. So this is why we're seeing all these things like with Elon and the new technocracy and JD Vance and all this stuff pushing this new America party or whatever. It's the new technocrat. It's not new. This is a century-long goal. What we go through is these century-long rituals. And what's going to happen next in the next 3 to 4 months is you're not going to know a difference between reality and fiction online. And this is the Hegelian dialect problem reaction solution, not a cyber incident that the WEF warned us about. It's going to be, if you want to access your dating website, you're going to have to scan your iris and get a 128 iris code so you can get your digital passport to survive. So things like social credit, the whole socialist, communist, world communist agenda is the big Illuminati agenda. And to get the money that's being pushed by all these crazy leftists like Elon and whoever else, where they're saying, we're going to give you free money. That's not the thing. The thing is going to be universal basic compute, where you're going to get access to have the AI. Getting a little bit of that AI will go make you money. So we're in like this whole crazy space right now, and it's all leading to something.
Wow,
So
that's
what's the
crazy.
128 iris you were just talking about? What is that?
It's actually 1 to 800,000. So Time Magazine, which is a Henry Luce, who's a Knights of Malta skull and bones character who made Adolf Man of the Year.
Mm.
There's also an IBM issue that's quite interesting to look at as well. Um, these are secret society type elements in it. They released a new issue with Sam Altman's ChatGPT, which was funded by Elon Musk and whatever, called The Orb Will See You Now. So an orb where you scan your eyeball and you do that, you'll get $42 of cryptocurrency of their world coin, but then you'll be able to verify that you're not a robot. So when you go online, you have to click, I'm not a robot. Here's a street light. Here's a street light. pretty soon you just scan your eyeball and then, okay, it's a person, you know?
Right, right. And I think there's something really big at play here when it comes to identity and authentication. I think at some point with what they're trying to set up is not only are they working on it right now, setting the foundation for it, but I think that for us to be able to have our identity authenticated, there's got to be like an interface, right? And getting you brought up the World Economic Forum, and I remember from 2022, actually February 2022, they actually came out with a um, it's called Advancing Digital Agency, the Power of Data Intermediaries. And it's kind of like that interface AI where it can securely authenticate that you are who you are. And I think what we could see in the future is the Hegelian dialectic out at play, where there's going to be crises, there's going to be DDoS of information. I mean, there's going to be a lot of cyber attacks, let's just say, right, that could implement their plans to be fulfilled even quicker. It just depends like how their time scale, right, runs with things. Um, with all that said, what do you is AI working to be first of all, do you think AI is conscious?
No, I don't, because AI can't think. We're human, so we think, but it's absolutely smart. And I'm not totally against AI. Like, I'm not against it. There's an argument to say, like, we need to up the ante on it because we could see with Iran, how they have this, caveman technology. So when we were at the Bro Grove, where, the precise precision strikes were happening, and everyone was freaking out and, crying and scared. And whoever came to the booth, I told them that this is going to be over in a couple days.
Mm,
And I even posted it publicly, and I was correct about that.
nice.
On the date, I said on June 24th because it was a Knights Templar date. It was a John
Mm,
the Baptist date, so that's why I picked that date. And Israel's got, the great AI, so that's why that was over with immediately. So there is an argument not to be against it, but to do that. But also think about the control that will have, like the power elite, the Bilderberg steering committee. So the secret society of the Bilderberg group, when we were at the Bro Grove, they were also planning stuff with Peter Thiel, uh, you know, uh, at this secret meeting. And also, Bohemian Grove just happened as well. So you got all these secret society meetings happening, and the top thing is AI.
mm.
So, do you think that these power elites that do these point of crisis manufacturing of crisis of famines and all of that all throughout history are going to use it for their good, or or not? So it's a double-edged sword, and it's interesting you brought up February 2022. So with some of the numerology stuff, that was like right when the lockdowns were ending in 2022, and the opening up of war. And Joe Biden, the greatest president that's ever existed, I'm sure we could agree on this. Smash that like button for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
He came out on the world stage on 222 at 222 p.m. on
Whoa.
Pluto's return of America to launch off the war. So there's an occult thing happening with times, dates, all that. Even Reagan was meeting with Manley P. Hall when he was a governor, because Reagan was very into the occult, for the right time to do his inauguration as governor. And we just had a huge ritual go down yesterday. July 20th is the 201 day of the year. We had Event 201 that happened just a few weeks or so prior to the whole world being locked down. This 201 number is crazy in ritual. It was when the largest outage of world history ever took place with the blue screens of death last year. But this year, this guy, a famous actor connected to the Cosbys, he drowned on the 201 day of the year, and the show he was in had 201 episodes. So there's this strange
Which guy
stuff
was
going
that?
on.
What was his name? What character did he play?
I don't know. I've never watched the show.
The
I was more,
Cosbys, right?
Yeah, he was into some show or something. I wasn't really into. I like South Park.
Yeah. Oh, I love South Park, dude. South Park goes
They're the
hard,
best.
dude.
South Park, The Office, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This new show called The Institute is freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good to have some comic relief, man, especially like with what we get into because it can be a little too much sometimes. And so I wanted to ask you, since there's a lot of numerology and there's a lot of there's there's like a lot of this stuff can be ciphered, right? And to where like how you're doing with numerology and you're starting to see the numbers play out. Do you think these people, Joe Biden, whoever, who are, doing these things on these specific dates, that do you think they're ignorant to this stuff?
Joe Biden is a genius. He's absolutely not ignorant to it. He's absolutely working the magic. No, because Reagan got Manley P. Hall to give him the exact time to go. They're not ignorant of it. Every single thing with the occult, there's the two agendas being played. Symbols, for example, have many multiple meanings and may mean one thing to the group, but to the initiates, it means something else. So there's always two different factions of secret societies. The secret societies, there's, the esoteric and the exoteric. So there's one for the masses and one for the initiates. And those initiates know what's going on for sure. Just seeing the symbols that they wear, like, or use
Right,
on
right.
their posters.
Now,
Mhm.
what when they do things on these ritualistic dates, right, with all these numbers, what are they getting out of it? What is it completing? Is it part of the ritual?
Well, we could go back to, the Druids, the Eleusinian mystery cults, or even today with any religion. Like we do things on certain days. On the weekend, we go out drinking on the weekend, or on Christmas, we have Christmas, or Hanukkah, we have Hanukkah. Labor Day is Labor Day, MLK Day. There's all these different days. What's the difference between us doing that on 4th of July, even though the real founding of America was on the 2nd of July? Why are these dates picked?
Mm.
What's the purpose of it? It has something to do with maybe remembering the calendar, that the floods are coming. For example, we got the helical rising of Sirius happening August 11th, which is coming up next month. And I think this is a date to look out for because Albert Pike, who wrote Morals and Dogma, the 33-degree Mason, also the co-founder of the Ku Klux Klan, he dedicated his astrology room to the date August 10th and the day centering upon it. Is it a coincidence that you got Epstein, Jeffrey hung himself on that date, August 10th? I even think that Robin Williams
Mm.
hung himself that date, August 10th.
Whoa.
A lot of stuff goes down August 10th. You got the Manson murders, I believe, happen on August 10th, which was an absolute ritual there with the whole
Right, right.
hippie stuff. But I'm looking out for that date to go on because the helical rising of Sirius is when in Egypt it flooded, the Nile flooded. So like you could keep calculation of what's going to happen, but Sirius is super important not only to America. America is based symbolically off of the hieroglyph of Sirius. And this guy who just drowned, for some reason, all the mainstream media is posting his picture, and it says Sirius
Hmm.
behind him for Sirius Radio. Sirius is known as the dog star. That's why Sirius Radio is a dog with a Sirius star on his eye. It's the dog star. It's all symbolic for sure, and they know what they're doing. It's tapping into something. Symbols speak to our autonomic nervous system.
Right,
Whoa,
right.
bro.
I remember I was reading a book by Isaac Weishaupt, and he was basically talking about
Oh
symbols
yeah.
and how they actually do influence you, believe it or not. Because it's like as if you were to be driving down a road, right? And let's say you've never seen a stop sign before in your life, and you pull up to a stop sign for the first time and you see a white line on the ground, those are two symbols. You already kind of are implied to, that you need to stop. right? You don't even really know what the symbol really means. You just know, okay, what's this mean? Something's coming, right? Or it's telling me to do something. And I relate a lot of that to what's going on in culture in our society today.
Bro, this guy Malcolm Jamal Warner, the guy that drowned from the Cosby Show, he was a big dude. I remember this guy. He's been in a lot of different some movies, and that TV show obviously is the biggest one. But wow, dude, that's sad. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, rest
Yeah.
in peace. Yeah. But
Yeah.
also, it goes into these ritual lores of drowning. So many Hollywood celebrities die drowning. Matt Perry was a huge one, sort of connected with that, drowning on his ketamine or whatever in this pool during this full moon.
mm,
And then you got Whitney Houston in the bathtub, Aaron Carter in the bathtub, Jim Morrison, I think, was in the bathtub. Elvis, it was in the bathroom.
right.
But there's something with drowning and a ritual with
Whoa,
Hollywood
like
for sure.
sacrifice kind of deal.
Right.
You
Yeah.
you brought up the number 42 earlier. I wanted to say this real quick. You were ta
42?
you were talking about the payment that you get from a certain system. What was that system?
Yes, it's called the Orb. The Orb will see you now. You'll get WorldCoin, crypto, 42 of them, which is the meaning of life. If you go back to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Mm.
Elon Musk just put 42 engines in his new rocket instead of his 33 engines, which is
So
just, it's all symbolic.
what
Right.
I wanted to say about this was 42 is actually, you said the meaning, 42 is actually considered a death number, especially with Japanese people as well. Have you heard that before?
Tell me about it.
So who was the guy? Who was the baseball player, Stevie? That's number 42, famous black
Rob
baseball.
Robinson or something like that.
Jackie
Yes,
Robinson.
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
So there's a guy that went on Sam Tripoli's show and talks all about that number as well. But I just looked it up. It's associated, like when you Google it, it's going to tell you the Japanese consider that a death number because of how it sounds when they speak their language. It sounds like a death or something like that. But I heard that and I'm like, why 42? What's the significance to you with 42? So you were saying it's what's the significance there with that payment? It's like I'm sorry to get off topic, but I was just like wondering this the whole time ever since you said it.
Oh, sure. Well, in the Gematria community, they've titled it racism in a lot of
Mm,
ways. So a lot of, I'm not even going to get too deep into it, but it's like connected uh, to that with the rituals of different black celebrities and whatnot with the 42. Um, and yeah, shout out to Sam Tripoli.
Yeah.
yeah,
um,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Tinfoil
He's
Hat
so
podcast.
funny. Yeah, he's so
Yeah.
great. Um, yeah, that 42. I was just in Japan, Sabarashi, arigato gozaimasu, and I loved it. It was great.
Oh wow.
Do a lot of actually symbolism of the Sanpaku eyes, which in Japanese means the three whites. So you'll look at someone's eyeball, and if they're crazy, which is most like podcasts like Joe Rogan or Russell Brand or Danny Jones or whatever mainstream podcast is out there, they got the three whites on the top of their eyes, like the eyes popping out like them cartoons. That means that they're crazy.
What?
Yeah, well, this is what Sampaku eyes represents. I get the
Right.
crazy eyes when I'm crazy. And then when it's underneath, like JFK had, or Princess Diana had, or Tupac had, it usually means that sometimes they connect it to tragedies to come, but it
Mm,
really is just they're under distress.
mm.
So I've been looking at the eyeball symbols. Then you got the eyeball symbols like AOC, where it's just all white around the eye, the crazy eyes that you see all the crazy people that commit crazy stuff. They have those crazy eyeballs. That's also Sampaku. But that's the one to
Wow.
look out for. Those are the crazy people. But symbolically on the world stage, I think it means something.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, dude.
absolutely.
I believe it.
Absolutely, man. So you earlier you mentioned the Bilderberg group. Could you just kind of for the audience just break that down for us?
Sure. Bilderberg Group is a secret meeting with these Chatham House rules. I guess they meet in secrecy, where you get all these top players that go there, different governments, which is illegal. Alex Jones did the best breakdowns of it. He's got a movie I would recommend called Endgame that
Hmm.
really woke me up to a lot of stuff that's going on back in 2007 or 2008 or something around there. That will be better for me to break it down, but it's a secret group that meets. They met first at this hotel Bilderberg. It's very connected to the National Socialists and world powers like that. And Peter Thiel, we're hearing all of this about Palantir now. I don't know why. I've been talking about Palantir for like since the lockdowns.
Oh,
Oh
no
wow.
way.
Oh yeah, I've been talking. I used to work for a alternative media, conservative news, Bitcoin, crypto channel called AMTV for a decade, for 10 years, and we studied all this stuff, deep fake. That's why I know a little bit more. So when I started or whatever, because of I'm walking on the shoulders of giants
Mm.
and whatnot. So uh, yeah. So it's just a secret meeting that the top elite go to plan out what's going to happen. And the agenda this year, they did it at this building right in front of a Knights Templar Masonic building, which is interesting. It's where
Oh my
Johnny,
God, dude.
yeah, it's where Johnny Depp went to go after his poopy divorce, where Amber Heard, who was banking Elon Musk, they were smashing, but she
Right.
was her mind was dead psychologically, according
Oof.
to her therapist, while she was having intercourse with the world's richest man. And then she was dating the world's most famous man who's in all these occult movies, Johnny Depp, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and pooping on his bed and cutting his finger. And I mean, it sounds ritualistic. What's
Right.
going on?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, just to say something about Johnny Depp. So, my buddy Scotty, Jesse knows Scotty. He's one of my other best friends, but
Yep.
his uncle is a tattoo artist in Miami, and him and Johnny Depp actually grew up together.
Oh wow.
And they played in the band together before he was in his acting career and all this. And he was even telling us that Johnny Depp was doing rituals, satanic rituals from a young age, like from teenage, 17, 18, 19 years old, to try and make their band better and to try and to grow their audience, in a way, maybe giving this energy to these jinn, these
Right.
demons, whatever it is that's out there, entities, whatever you want to call it. But we know that they can interact in our reality, and it's just funny that he's in these occult movies.
Right.
I can see the background playing a part of all that, and who knows really how many actors are really involved in all of
Right.
this
It's
stuff.
funny how like this stuff is all becoming mainstream now, but I think it's been a lot more prevalent in our society and maybe in the world in general than we even know. But it's all kind of coming to the forefront now. It's becoming more mainstream. It's just really weird. Things have
Right.
been going
Okay.
on a while, obviously, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very interesting story about Johnny Depp. He
Yeah.
is absolutely a nutty character. I believe he is a Templar because he
Mm.
was put in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which is where banking comes from the Knights Templars, going back to the Mithra cults of the Cilician pirates and whatnot, maritime law and all
Oh
that, the
yeah.
law of the sea. Um, I'm very skeptical. I don't think the world's gonna is in like a great awakening or waking up at all. I think everyone is super asleep, more so than ever.
Mm.
More asleep than during the lockdowns. I mean, just where I'm at in my stage of looking into the truther stuff, but also doing it like publicly as well, is that the world, the crowd, the mass psychosis, they're gonna be led into socialism. That's what they want. They want the king, they want the queen to rule over their feminine energy.
Mm.
This is all throughout history. People have wanted a dictator to rule them because of they're very feminine. This idea of freedom and individual responsibility and God-given rights in America, all this stuff is very rare. I don't think it's ever happened in the course of all of human history. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a historian, but that is slipping away so quickly because that's the crowd. The crowd is stupid. The crowd is feminine. And when I say feminine, that doesn't mean woman or female, man and woman. There's the duality of things. It's not like all like one or whatever. There's the bad and evil. There's good and evil. There's the freaking good and the freaking evil. That, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
that I just see the crowd. They're going towards evil, and that's how it just always has been.
Mm.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
matter because a little bit of good, a little bit of light, cast out all the darkness.
Yeah, I
Right.
think there's
Right.
really a chess game going on. Stevie alludes to this quite a bit on the podcast, and it does seem that way. Just going off your point, you said, there's a lot of people that say, hey, like I think a lot of people are waking up, or like I said, I think a lot of this stuff is being brought to the forefront and being put more mainstream. But still, it doesn't mean that everybody's getting it. You know what I mean?
Right. I think
Oh
people are
yeah.
more worried about the dopamine hits than anything. I mean, they
Mm,
might find something that you say interesting, but it's not affecting them in their daily lives. They're
interesting.
just
Yeah.
getting the dopamine's overwhelming the rest of the curiosity that they may be thinking of. It's almost literally like in Batman Forever, where I think that's the movie, but it's where Jim Carrey was playing the Riddler, and
Love that movie.
everyone's just sucked into the television, or they're just
Oh
sucked
yeah,
into that hive mind, right,
forgot
to where they
about
can
that.
be manipulated on how to think, all that stuff.
Dude, you're so right about that. It's totally like Stevie was telling me earlier, like we got to get off of this. We work, we all three of us, we work on this is our platform. Like this is what we do. We work on but when you mindlessly keep scrolling through all those random videos, you're totally right. It's like a dopamine release and a lot of these people like they're like more conspiracy, more conspiracy, more that they don't
Oh
like
yeah.
you're not going to get anything done, but I mean, regardless.
Well, I look at it like there's conspiracy TikTok, right? That is the brain rot that's going to rot your brain. And I'm not
Right.
even good at it. Like, I suck at it because it's got to be super simple. And
Yeah,
like, I like the long form
right.
podcasts. I like to go for like an hour at least and reading books. If you want to really advance in this upcoming idiocracy, all you got to do is read. Like if you're able to read, even if it's crap literature, you're going to be smarter than the whole public because of the attention. So attention switching, the dopamine is part of that. When you're on the scrolling, and I'm addicted to it, there's a problem. I'm on there, I'm on my couch, oh, what am
Yeah.
I doing?
Yeah.
Not getting any work done.
Right.
What am I doing?
An hour goes by,
I'll lie to myself and say I'm doing work. I'm trying to see a trending story. What? No, I'm not. Like I gotta get off the freaking phone. But it's this attention switching.
Mm.
Everyone's talking about fatigue, this, fatigue, that. People are like, "Why am I so sleepy everywhere I go?" Even me, I'm very lethargic a lot of the times. And it's just like that life energy of passion and vocation that was like you get the energy from doing what like excites you with whatever that is, a podcast or your work or whatever, the attention switching is stressing people out. It's
Mm.
stress. It's the number one killer is stress. And that's what's
Wow.
happening. So on my phone, I don't have any notifications. I'm slowly detoxing away from it. They did the study back in the 2000s before smartphones came out, that emails came out. And whoever was checking their emails, they were stressed out and it lowered their IQ, I think 10 points or something like that. And this was before smartphones. So like the depleted food and all this, but this is a big factor. And so my big thing is I've been pushing going outside. Don't touch the grass though. That's gonna get you itchy. I don't.
Glyphosate.
Yeah, I do not touch grass. Stay away from the grass.
Kind of get you itchy. Yeah, it's razor
Yeah, no
sharp,
doubt.
believe it or not. It'll cut you up a little bit.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
got
I
to get
went
the
on a
right
rant.
That's
grass. You got to get
hilarious,
the
dude.
right grass. You got to get
Yeah.
nice, what is it? Zoyan zoysia or whatever it is. That's like soft. It's like hair, pretty
Grass is
much.
What?
for cows.
No
That's
doubt. No
hilarious.
doubt. No doubt. I
I
actually can't
like
wait.
dirt. I just like to roll around in dirt, throw it in the air, and rub it all over myself, and then go. I'm in Arizona, so
Right.
all we have is dirt.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
you there.
Well, you made a good point with all that, man, and I see it today. Because everyone's just looking down on their phones. There's this uprise of idiocracy that people are ignorantly falling into, and I've been trying to detox myself, and like you said, I've been trying to read more books, and I've been trying to get a lot of books under my belt. And as a content creator, really, it's what it's what we should be doing because we're the ones that need to be seeking further information and not just parroting off of other people and
Right.
coming up with new information to and different conclusions to bring to the public. And as I'm reading, right, especially at the firehouse yesterday, I'm reading my book and I'm like, my phone's next to me and I'm like, let me see my phone. Or I'm like, reading's getting boring, let me get my phone. And I was like, no. And I just put it away, put it on the charger, left it alone. I was like, I'm gonna read 20 pages,
Well,
you
that's
know.
not true. You did pick up your phone probably about 3 times and called me to talk about the book. He's
Yes,
like
I did.
he's like, dude, this book is crazy, bro.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, no, I
So,
agree with you though.
so why do you
100%.
why don't know why do you think they want to get us to that level of idiocracy?
Well, I think we've been at a level of idiocracy for a long time. I don't think we've ever really changed that. Maybe during the Renaissance when there was new art coming out or whatever. I think it's more of taking us to demoralization,
Mm,
just making us just be more nihilistic, more anti-life. Uh, more this I think that's the big thing because there's some happy stupid people out there that I'm very envious of. I'm not envious but I'm jealous of, but also I'm not though in a lot of ways too because like you said with the reading of a book, something like getting some new thought form of reading something, I'm excited to like get into the Plato and the Aristotles and stuff because they don't teach that in school. So I don't know, reading's cool. That's dope. 20
Sure.
pages isn't easy. It's not easy to sit down and read 20 pages.
right.
Right. And it's funny you bring up Plato because, he talks a lot about Atlantis. And I really think that, especially these elites who want to bring back a new Atlantis, right? They may not want us to be familiar with the term. They may not want us to be understanding to what Atlantis was or what it was, how it was built, how many kingdoms it was, and how they kind of functioned with their philosophy and all of this. Because it seems like we might be coming back and returning to times like that. I don't know. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I don't think so. I think we're
Okay.
screwed. Like I don't, I don't see anything good happening. I maybe in a few centuries, maybe like a few hundred years, we'll probably have some Atlantis civilization or something. But right now, like going to Circle K, uh, I just don't feel very, I don't feel very hopeful for the future.
Yeah.
No, but I do have hope for the future. But it's, I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. That's probably a negative reaction to it. What do you think?
I have a feeling like it has something to do with artificial intelligence. It has something to do with some sort of dictator, right? Like you mentioned a dictator. And I know I heard one time in an interview with a guy, I don't remember his name, but he was one of the members of the Club of Rome. And he was talking about how they really want to see in the future the possibilities of a perfect dictatorship. And I'm like, okay, that resonated with me. And this was back in like 2010, right? This is when I was like senior in high school. I was introduced to Alex Jones. I'm going down this rabbit hole, and I'm hearing this, and but seeing where we're at today with artificial intelligence. Real quick, I'm going to go back to the interview. The guy was talking about that they want to not only see a dictator, but they want to see a world perfect dictator, one that is how do I say this, but neutral in ethics and morals. And so if you think of that with how the world is segmented, right? You've got multiple religions, you've got multiple different kinds of cultures and all of this, but they really want to see something that comes into play where it'll be able to balance all of those things, right? And I think with what we're seeing in politics, we're seeing the bird tear itself apart, right? The left and the right are constantly that duality there. They're constantly going at it, good cop, bad cop. It's really the same entity, but I think that it's to demoralize. I think it's to break us down as a society so that we will in a way ask for a more ethical, a more just a different kind of system. And maybe AI may be that perfect dictator. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
I think the AI, it's programmed by a certain group
Mm,
of people who think a certain type of way, have certain beliefs already, which is
right.
this technocracy system. So even if the AI says it's going to do that, it was programmed by asexual engineers. So
Hmm.
it's, you know, and it doesn't, you
I
know,
agree.
think,
I agree.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's good for like with the decision making. For example, ethics decision making of the AI. If I'm in my Tesla truck on my 20-inch rim spinners, spinning down the block, just cruising, Elon Musk is in his Tesla truck, and we're gonna collide with each other right by a cliff. What's the ethic morality of who gets to live in that scenario?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I've heard that before. That is a good point. I think the alarming part going towards Stevie's conclusion here with the AI is you know, you got guys like Elon going on Joe Rogan and saying, "Hey, by 2029 or 2030," and we all know the 2030 agenda, right? We're going to have this AI that's like no other AI that's ever been. And it's like, what is that going to look like? Is that going to be is it going to be conscious? Is it going to be this general AI that people talk about that just becomes sentient and starts multiplying and changing society, you know, on its own?
Well. To top off what Donut was saying, you know how they're creating the algorithms, right? They're molding AI, right?
Hmm.
And AI is just not at to a point where it's sentient and all this stuff. I totally get that. And the co-founders of Palantir, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp. Well, first of all, both of them went to college together, went to law school together. They Alex Karp didn't get a PhD in law, right? He got a PhD in neoclassical social theory, which is interesting because that kind of like plays a part in like what you're saying, right? So it's really what their beliefs are, and
Right.
and especially with what he was talking about in an interview, and he was bringing up discrimination. He was bringing up anti-Semitism. He was bringing up a lot of things which we're seeing today at an uprise, and maybe they have the power to teach the AI how to be ethical, depending on their views
Right.
and their way of thinking in social engineering, right? So
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
yeah.
And what's going to serve the best profit, best energy credit at that exact moment? Oh, maybe the AI is like, yo, you know, these criminals right here, they're doing good in this algorithmic data for something that's going on here, and that's really good for our company because it's going to profit it. Or like there's so many
Right.
scenarios. It's like a total control thing. I really just would stress that, like a calculator. I'm a when it comes to math, except for multiplications. I can multiply. Throw me something.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
19
Well,
times
not that
34.
high. Not that. Nothing above double digit.
Okay. All
It's
right.
funny you
Well,
said 19, dude. We were talking about
yeah,
19
19 times
earlier.
42. Go.
I can't do that. I'm
All
not that
right,
smart.
all right. 9 times 4.
That's funny, man.
36.
That is so funny.
7 times 6. It's an easy one. These are all easy. Okay. That's just
42.
Wait, hold on, hold on.
yeah.
I'm hearing you guys
42.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. There you go. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, the thing is that we learned that like in fourth grade, and now we have a calculator, so there's no need to learn that.
Right.
With AI, There's no need to
Right.
read and research and think and put conclusions together and synchronize
Right.
information, because the AI is going to synchronize it for you.
Right.
And using the AI, which I'll utilize it, and ask it questions, I have to argue with the damn thing for it, because they're not showing the great works of a lot of researchers
Right. And
when
you
they
know
bring up,
that, you know.
yeah. So like it's I think you gotta read, not
Yeah.
crazy, just read a little bit, be able to hold conversations. I think socializing is one of the huge missing key ingredients in
Mm.
the America, at least in the cities. Loneliness epidemic is a huge thing. So having, relationships, very important. There's just so much that is so simple too, because
Right.
the simplicity is usually a good solution to stuff.
Right, right. So you were talking earlier, right? You were talking about the 128,
One, two, wait.
128, right? So you were talking about a concept to where, based off of human body activity data, people were able to or have the possibility to mine cryptocurrency or get paid crypto.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff. Like what you just said, like they're going to be freaking hooking people up to CERN pretty soon. And they're going to
Wow.
be using the Large Hadron Collider, is what I like to call it, because
Hard on.
they're recreating the Big Bang. I mean, by smashing particles. So there's like, people get mad that I say that, but they're going to put people into the CERN and smash them with these particles to cure them. That's
Mm.
like where we're heading. And there's also computers being made of all these different people's brains that they take, and it's powered by human organs and whatnot like that. So there's a lot going on. But with this orb, you scan your iris code, you get your digital passport, and in return, you get $42.
Oh
So,
wow. I mean, that
yes,
have you ever heard of Microsoft's patent that came out in
the
2019?
666 one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have it right
where,
next
yeah.
to me. So, I mean, does this play into any of this? Is that a precursor to what maybe this patent kind of gets into?
Yeah, like they're gonna power stuff like the movie The Matrix, which is just a Gnostic movie about Gnosticism, but they're gonna power stuff through people's like bodies, or as a battery.
Mm.
That's like out there.
Ah,
Yeah.
Wow.
wow. And now you see everything as far as the Genius Act, stable coins. There's a foundation to where the United States, our nation, right, is working on building a system to be a cashless society, right?
Yeah, they banned the pennies, they banned the red 40, and if they try to take my red 40, 1776 is gonna convince again.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, you're right. They're banning they took away our pennies. Um,
That's crazy, man. And
and think
so
about, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
The lockdowns, you weren't allowed to use the cash, and it moved it into that.
Mm.
Then you have the Cash App founder who liked to go to these ritualistic orgies. He was murdered by a guy who was living in room 201, which is
What?
another weird thing.
Oh,
And who created like cryptocurrency? It's the second layer of the internet. It's going to be here. Like the crypto and all that, that's not for us for money. That's for the computers and the cars, the self-automated cars and the society. This is where it's going, good or bad. That's just where it's going. And
speaking about the who created Bitcoin, I heard you say something on one of your videos about Bitcoin stands for a certain number. Was it 223 skull and bones or something like that?
yes,
Does that
yeah,
allude to who actually created it?
yeah, absolutely. I think it is. And I got to talk to the great Jordan Maxwell, who is like the granddaddy of a lot of waking up people to symbolism and maritime law. And I got to bring the information of XRP to him when it was like 19 cents. And I showed like the audience
Wow.
and all that, because of the liquid assets. And Ripple was the name of
Right.
it, which
I
is like
remember.
water. It's a bridge currency. The bridge goes over the water, all the water
Mm.
with currency. So Bitcoin, BTC, the number B is 2, BTT is 20, you always remove the zero
Hmm.
in numerology. So it's 2, 2, and then C is 3. So it's 2, 2, 3, which is like 3, 2, 2, just like backwards.
Right.
Right.
If you write skull and crossbones, you get the numerical value in gematria. It equals 2, 2, 3, and then the skull and bones got the 3, 2, 2 on the symbol. Get it,
Oh,
get it.
look at him.
Hey, there it is.
Adorable. That's a pretty big cat.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
big boy. He's like 17 pounds or 18
What?
No
pounds.
way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got asthma. He's got, I gotta give him his bong. He has an asthma. He literally has a bong that he hits his asthma inhaler
Heck
out of.
yeah, dude.
Oh man,
That's
that is
hilarious.
hilarious, man.
Yeah,
That's
asthma
hilarious.
doesn't do well in the desert.
It sure doesn't.
No,
No.
no. So with everything we're talking about, right? What secret society groups are behind this?
It's
Do
the
you think?
Jews. Not just joking.
Yeah,
That's fine. Well, I think there's different factions when it comes to power. How many mafias are behind the mafia, right? There's different families. So when it comes to power, there's different groups and entities, and sometimes they fight with each other, and sometimes they work together. Most of the time, they're working together because it's good for business. So the list goes on and on. America was founded via a conspiracy. So you got, and there were Freemasons too. So Freemasons are a secret society, which is super important to the building of America, and the Illuminati, whatever. So you got all these different. There's so many different secret societies.
right.
Right.
They could be good ones or bad ones, or but who's at the top of the power structure? We're not going to hear those names. We're not you're going to hear Rothschild, yeah, but
Right.
who gave the Rothschild their money?
Right.
Who were they allowed to marry into? Like you're not going to hear those names.
And
Right.
the
Right.
Rothschilds changed their name at one point to Rothschilds, and it means, what was it, Red Shield?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the Bayer family.
The
They
bear.
changed it
Yeah.
to Rothschild, meaning Red Shield. What is a Red Shield? Who's controlling this whole Middle East conflict? It's the Red Cross, right? They're the
Ah,
ones who are doing all the work there. Who
Mm.
gets to get free? Who doesn't? What's going on? The symbolism tells a totally different story. People will be like, "You need to follow the money." Why would I follow the money if you can just print money to infinity? Bloop. You could just print money. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Sure, there's aspects to follow. I'm being kind of like, I'm just saying some crazy stuff out there, but I'm just trying to show the importance of symbolism on the
hmm,
world stage.
right.
Why do these protests that happen? Why are they raising some sort of flags? What do these flags mean?
Hmm.
Like, and when you study the symbolism, it tells a whole different story that actually makes the world make sense. And it's a pretty
Well,
crazy thing.
yeah. Symbolism is a language, right? It's in a way a language. It's their brand, if that makes any sense. And it's so funny that you could see all these symbols date back all the way to even the Sumerian times.
Sure.
Right. And so do you think these are bloodlines
Yes.
that have secured their bloodline and kept it to a point to where, what's the
Yes.
word, nepotism in a way, right?
Absolutely. The bloodline is one of the most huge importance, and you could see it in the heraldry, which is the symbolism as well. And absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had more on the bloodlines, but it is important because you could see the direct correlation going back to, let's say, the Tudor family and the War of the Roses or whatever. Like
Hmm.
these different bloodlines are.
Right.
Have you ever listened to
Right.
Gary Wayne?
Gary Wayne, shout out to Gary Wayne. Yeah,
Gary
he's
Wayne,
great.
Yeah,
name
he's
Absolutely.
drop.
great. Right. Yeah.
He's got
And
a whole plethora of name drop. Like he's the whole bloodline stuff. He starts talking about it, like just these names that you just
I think
never would
the I
have
think the
ever heard of.
gist of it though is like the black nobility, right?
Mhm.
It's the black nobility, and he traces this all the way back to Cain, right? And Cain's lineage and how they kind of, stayed within each other. They married within each other, and through the ages, and even after the flood, right? We can't really deny that there wasn't a flood. I mean, at some point, it's just justified by the scientific community, the religious community, and just cultures all around the world. I feel that it plays a big part in this mysticism and to whatever true agenda that they want to bring back. And again, it kind of goes all the way back to this Atlantis talk we were getting into earlier. I think that humans have always been at war and conflict for dominion of the earth. And so if
Mm.
you've got these bloodlines, right? I think that it's a part of their goal, it's a part of their agenda to
Makes sense.
establish to establish what they couldn't keep back in the past. Because if you look at, especially, like, just the biblical narrative, right, it seems like every time they tried, they got close to their plan being successful, they were judged, or there was some sort of cataclysm that took place to keep them from getting to that point. And I just think that now, today, with all the things being set in place, Palantir, Anduril, Stargate, XAI, and just the other nations around the world, which are competitive against us, which are building their own platforms, it's like they're setting the network for that to come into play. You know?
Right. Yeah. So building off of all that, Donut, where do you, can I get a prediction from you? Where do you think we go from here? What's next? Is there going to be a big, false flag event? Is like, where do we go from here? Can you give us a little bit of like a time frame of what you think is going to happen in the near future?
Sure. We're going to have a black swan event that happens, and a black swan is just something out of nowhere that's like huge that happens. I don't know exactly what it would be, but it's going to happen in the next week or two.
Whoa.
That could be anything. And it doesn't have to happen in America. It could happen in friggin' Africa or whatever like that, but something big will happen in the next 2 weeks because of this whole helical rising stuff. I think it's going to be connected to the markets for a reason. And the reason I'm connecting is very kind of schizo, but with the viral meme that went all over the world and all the big news agencies was promoting this Cobot family who's connected and married into the Skull and Bones family, where you got these billionaire CEOs doing adultery on the world stage.
Mm.
In all the articles is that we're watching you. The cameras are always watching. So, you
Is it
kind
the
of got
Coldplay thing?
the Coldplay thing. And
Okay.
Coldplay is a big prominent member of the United Nations in a lot of ways, because during the lockdowns, they were the global citizens. They're pushing the energy credits of the carbon to reduce our breathing
Oh,
on this
wow.
planet,
Oh,
just
jeez.
just like Elmo is as well.
Yeah.
Elmo is a big part of that whole process. Elmo was like straight up one of the warriors for getting everybody medicated during the lockdowns, and especially like the kids and whatever.
And now
Yeah,
he's a Nazi.
yeah. Well, I think he always was. I think he always was, but
Oh, right,
now
right.
it's a little more open to be free about
That's
it. But like,
crazy, dude.
I just, he made me try to tickle him when I was younger, and I just, had a weird, vibe about him ever since then.
That's
That's
hilarious.
hilarious, bro.
That is funny, dude. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So I think that's like the next week or two,
Oh,
and
wow.
this helical rising is like a big thing. But the big thing in the next 3 months will be we're going to get a flood of AI, not knowing the difference between reality and fiction on the internet, which is the Hegelian dialect. I think that this whole viral moment was an AI testing ground. The guy runs an AI company
Oh,
that got
wow.
caught, like coincidence there, uh, where they're running algorithms. What happens if you release a video, right? Everyone's begging for these naughty videos to be released so they can all see these naughty videos. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Mm.
But what happens when there is a release of something that people are saying, no, that's fake. That's a Democrat hoax right there. Maybe it is. Maybe there's fake stuff that they're going to release in the, Jeffrey files, or real stuff. How are people going to react? How are we going to know what's real or what's not? It's sort of kind of all plays along in this orb agenda where to verify if you're real or not. So that is sort of what I see happening in the next during this year. And then more long term, it's like you're saying, the cashless society, the smart cities, the big ritual will be the Olympics. California burns down, right? Has the big fire after the Rothschild burns in a fire. And all the
Right.
news reports were talking about that with
Right.
no evidence or at all, but all the news reports were saying that. Well, I looked at how these smart grids are built, and it burnt everything around downtown. Downtown would be the smart grid, the control center, and all around it was burnt down, but not downtown. Downtown wasn't affected. And then they had these like riots there, the No Kings protests. I think this
Right.
is all algorithm data for the coming smart cities. Now we have this decade-long Genius Act, crypto bill, and all that, and AI can't be touched for 10 years. So 10 years from now will be 2035. And this whole transhuman agenda is for 2040. They're all pointing, that's the date the singularity will happen, where there will be a new human, a new Homo sapien of robot man. So that's sort of the trajectory. But the reason I think it's the markets that happen during this year is because of this bull ritual that went on in the ancient days every 25 years. And 25 years ago, there was the dot-com bubble. So if they do these ancient rituals every 25 years, 25 years ago today would have been the dot-com bubble. So that's straight schizo, but sometimes, this stuff, ends
You're
up
saying
being
bowl ritual, like BOWL?
a bull. So like a
Okay.
bull, like a
Okay,
Taurus.
bowl. All right.
Yeah, like a bull or a bull market,
Right.
is kind of there. Or Mithra is slaying the bull. There's a lot of so I don't know. Sometimes being like into God and being aware of Christ and just being connected to higher power or praying. You kind of God sends little messages. So I run off a lot of that. When I'm
Beautiful.
throwing stuff out there. Yeah.
Holy Spirit type deal.
Right on,
Yes.
man. It's funny, I think we are getting into an age. Let me clarify that. I think we are right around the corner from this transhumanism agenda. Like you said, Yuval Harari, right? This new Homo sapien. How do you say it? Homo
Homo
sapien.
sapien.
Sorry, when I say homo, it just like makes me feel funny and sad. But so so
You're stupid.
I know I'm looking right here, and this is out of this is the World Economic Forum insight report, like I was saying earlier, Advanced Digital Agency, the power of data intermediaries, and it talks about the now, the evolution, and the future of what this is to look like. And I'm thinking that what's around the corner is legal acceptance of a digital ID, right? And I think obviously there's going to be a Hegelian dialectic with that. I think there's going to be a problem reaction solution to where people are going to accept that or even ask for it, right? And so when that does happen, that's that's the evolution part, right? So that's like the second stage of this idea. But the last stage is where, and as I'm reading right from this report itself, and it says next level of data intermediaries embedded in body. Now, the other two stages before that, right, we're talking about cell phones, talking about browsers, talking about all these other things that we're connected to, the Internet of Things, right? Our digital ID is technically, a part of all of that, but when it says embedded in body, that's what clicks for me. Where I'm like, okay, machine and man, whatever that's going to look like. I don't know. I mean, I'm working on a big project of what that may be. Again, it's all theory, right? Everything's a theory. But I wanted to get your thoughts. What do you think is that going to look like when they integrate machine and man?
Well, first off, I think the CBDCs then were on our knees as humanity.
Mm.
That's what will bring humanity to its knees is the CBDC.
Mm,
And then so that's like really bad. And then this next step of, neural links and whatnot, it will be sold very nicely. I mean, you can pay for with the Neuralink because it's just hits you can bam bam like whoa yeah
wow.
pretty it's a pretty good selling point there. But it's interesting how you get this mark of the beast. What is the mark of the beast, right? You can't buy or sell, I believe. Is that I'm
Right,
not
right.
really
Yeah.
I think that's what it says. I don't want to misquote.
No, no, no. It's exactly what it says. Yeah.
Okay, so you can't buy and sell, so that kind of throws the whole tefillin because people, the anti-Semites would be like, "That's on their head," and they're prey. But you can't buy or sell without that. Like I don't know, maybe in the future if they do take over, then you can't buy or sell without. I don't know, but I
Hmm.
look at it more of a Neuralink kind of
Mm.
thing, where
Right.
they push the first guy to take this Neuralink. He's
Hmm.
wearing a cross on his hat and he has a Bible behind him.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Because that would be like the audience that you would really need to kind of sell to, you know?
Absolutely.
Right.
Like, I thought that was kind of weird there.
That is weird.
It's freaking weird,
Yeah, and especially I think I've heard Elon Musk's mom talk about this on an interview. It was on like a pretty big show, and she's like, if you don't, this isn't for you if you don't want it. If you don't want to upgrade yourself, then that's fine. It's not for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but really, what's the outcome of that, right? Like it's gonna be hard to live in society, right? If everything goes this route, and
well,
it's dark to talk about, but
I think it's important though, because think about cell phones, right? All the kids that are born today with cell phones, they have no idea what it was like without the cell phone. So
Right.
in another 50 years from now, when we're all old or gone or whatever, that's not that long. Like 50 years, they're all gonna have that in them. So they're not gonna know the difference. Right when you're born, it's like you get circumcised, right? You get something implanted in you right when you're born, and everybody's got it. So it's like that's all you know, and then that could really bring in this whole assimilation simulacra, which is crazy, where you get born and there's like the test tube babies. There's just so much crazy stuff going on.
Damn, you hit
yeah,
me with
dude,
that
But
listen,
Similac.
I don't freak out. If you're
no,
watching
no,
this
no,
and you're
listen,
freaked out, don't
listen,
freak
dude,
out because God is in control. You're watching the biblical hitman.
Let's
So you
go.
gotta know, like, we look into all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, we're powerless over a lot and
Yeah.
God's in control. We don't gotta
right?
freaking like I wanna like heal like anti-Semitism. I don't like it. I want it to go away.
Right.
Well, I can't do anything about that. That's gonna
Right.
have that's ancient, like,
Right.
but I can just, I can leave that in God's hands and I
Right.
can just show up and do, my part and take action.
Hmm.
And also when the world was locked down, there was somewhat, I wanted to wake some people up at a little moment of time. I got really smart quickly and realized that there's no waking up
Mm.
society.
Hmm.
Um, but you just take action and you got to just work on yourself, have a good connection with God,
Right,
and
right.
everything will be fine. Everything will work out the way that God wants to have it work out. That's the
Yeah,
Right.
thing,
Yeah. Put it in God's hands. I say that
exactly.
all the time. It's nowhere. Don't fear nothing. There's nothing you can do about it anyways. But going back to the anti-Semitism you're
Yes.
talking about, which is running rampant on Twitter. I remember when Elon took over, it just immediately kind of took place, and it's crazy. But going to these,
Well, it's
are you
Kanye.
familiar? What's that?
Kanye.
Oh, dude.
He's the the most famous celebrity of all history that plays at every single wedding, bat mitzvah, or wherever you go.
Right, right, right.
Kanye West went to war on people,
Right.
not an institution, not a government. Not he went to war with me. He said, "You people, Jewish people." You know,
In a
and so
way, I can agree and I can disagree in a way because
sure,
my take on Kanye is just like Michael Jackson. Do you remember the song Michael Jackson came out with? And it's like, they don't really care about us.
yeah, son, go
Yeah,
hard.
right. Kanye, I felt like also was battling with industry, and certain people were Jewish, and he was mad at them. And I
Sure.
felt like that was the same kind of reaction, obviously a much crazier reaction than Michael Jackson. You know, they took it out of his song, so people don't really know the original lyrics of, you can find it, of course. I'm sure it's maybe even on Spotify, but like Kanye, I felt like did this, Prince did a similar deal as well. But I
Shakespeare.
felt like that was Kanye's like reaction and his take on. I felt like that was mainly why he did it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
So like the only thing that I gotta say where I think there's bigger power at play with
mm,
it is that the Illuminati and celebrities and propagandists, they utilize celebrities. And this is the
right.
Kardashian bloodline. These are like the
Mm,
top witches of Hollywood. Like this is not like Michael Jackson would be up there as well. This is why Trump and Michael Jackson were very, very close friends because Trump
wow.
saw the power of Michael Jackson, that he can go up
Oh
to a
yeah.
banker with Michael Jackson
Right.
and have them trembling out
Right.
of stardom. So using the stars, using the celebrities is how you manipulate the masses. How many people show up to the greatest president of world history, a Joe Biden rally? Not a lot of people, but a lot of people will rally for Drake, for
Oh
Lady
yeah.
Gaga, for U2, they'll pack the stadiums for days and
Right.
days. Pack
For
the stadium.
forever, for a whole lifetime. Like these guys go on tour for the rest of their lives. You know
And it was at such a point, so he went to war on the 218 day of the year, right?
what?
On Jewish people. And then on the 218 day of the year, October 7 happened. So on the exact day he went to war on the Jewish people was the exact day the Middle East conflict happened a year later on October 7th. It was the leap year, so he did it on October 6th. But I think that there's more to play out here. Why did Netanyahu, when he went on his thing with his net and his Yahoo can on the Alex Jones
Oh
podcast,
right.
why did Netanyahu even respond to him? Why did a world power, respond to Kanye? Kanye also ran for the president of the United States of America. Kanye West was with Donald Trump in the Oval Office. I believe he was under MK Ultra mind control. And I
Whoa.
believe the first attempt on Trump's life next to the 7131, which is a sun position where like the sun is like at its highest peak. There's like secret society parades on that date that that attempt on his life happened, real or fake. It was real for the masses.
Right.
I believe that Kanye was part of that. And like through memetic magic, look, I'm crazy. I'm schizo. So like, I mean, obviously
Keep
I'm
going.
nuts.
Keep going.
The meme that was shared out with Kanye, Trump, and Elon, it was like they had the swords and they were like connecting their swords together. They're crossing swords.
I'll look that up.
Well, it was like a famous meme. And then Elon is running against Trump. Kanye ran against Trump. I think that there's a lot more going on than to the story. This is what's crazy. If you look at the Rothschild magazine, and my friend in Israel showed me this, Guy Tao, if you look at The World in Hell, which was released in 2011, it shows Hamas on paragliders
What?
against Israel and Hamas. And then if you look right underneath it on the oil can, if you flip it upside down, it says 710 or 10/7 or whatever, the date of that
Why,
exact
right?
thing to take place. So I think that there's
Wow.
something bigger at play going on the world stage.
Whoa, dude. Going back to the Kardashians, we talk about, I always knew there was something out there. Always wearing black. My wife and my wife's sister, they always had it on. And I would always just talk so much mess to him, dude. I'd like, get this stuff off. These dorks. These girls are just like the prissy little valley girl, but they're always wearing black, and then we start talking about who's the one old lady that's dating a fashion designer, and she's got always black on her fingers, and she's
Yeah,
really
her
creepy
teeth are
looking,
terrible.
dude.
She had a picture with, what was it, ASAP Rocky
Oh, dude,
or
I
one
sent you
of
that, right?
them. Yeah, and in the photo, actually, she's sitting on the couch, almost like she's in a meditated
It was
state.
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, and Travis Scott's laying on the floor with just a big with a either a pillow or some sort of
His
inflatable
head's on the
on
tile
top of
next to
him.
like a fireplace or something. Like his
Yeah, but
head's
in
like,
the photo too, there's multiple orbs. You can see the
oh,
picture
that's
is
right.
populated with orbs, dude. It's saturated with orbs, right? And it's
So
almost
so
like,
where does this so where do the Kardashians playing with witchery? Like where do they get that from? Do you know? Like where does that come? Is it in their lineage? Like,
That's a good question. I don't know about their bloodline going back in time, but their bloodline is really cemented in with all the top celebrities. They got the Travis Scott bloodline in the Kardashian clan. They
what?
got
Oh,
Kanye
that's right. Yeah,
West,
yeah.
Kanye West's bloodline in the Kardashian clan, and so they're dating and sleeping with all the different top musicians, the top celebrities and actors, and having kids with them. It's not for me and you, it's for that 50 years from now. It's the century long goals. It's for the future. And what a perfect way to have the left and the right. Uh, you have kid, and then both of the parents, one's on the far left, one's on the far right, or something like that. So that
right.
bloodline continues. Yeah,
Well, what you're talking about too is like the destruction of the nuclear family, right? Yeah, the demoralization of how possibly the family tradition was created and intended for, right? You've got the husband at the top, you've got the wife, and you've got, the kid. But I think that what they've been doing too, especially in cultures, changing how women are are to naturally think. They're
Right.
becoming more like, I'm the CEO. I'm gonna go out and make all the money. I'm gonna
And
go
the
out and
father's
do this.
stupid and the dad's stupid. It's
It
like,
inverts and reverses the roles, which will
right.
naturally, if it's against its nature, demoralize the structure.
Absolutely, dude. It's been going on since Homer Simpson. They portray him as he's a father of kid, he's a you got Family Guy. Like you look at all these cultural TV shows and all that stuff. It's like it portrays the dad as this, you know.
Right.
sure.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's huge. The man and woman divide is huge. We're seeing a collapse of population because no one's having kids anymore. And like you're saying, you don't have people, everyone's so like about themselves, not in
Hmm.
a good like Ayn Rand type philosophy way, but more of a self-centered, narcissistic, will to power type of way, um, with women, men. I mean, men are just absolutely cowards. Today I saw it during the lockdown, how cowardly uh, men are. And then women
Hmm.
as well are just as evil as the men. And yeah, it's really crazy. It's hard to find a rational, like, person today,
Hmm.
not under the demoralized culture of all these like narratives of how things are supposed to be. I think a lot of it has to do with narcissism,
Hmm.
and at least in America. I really can't say around the world because I'm not, from Korea or, Japan or whatnot, but we got a population crisis happening,
Hmm.
pretty crazy collapse. And I've been very interested in learning about this. Elon Musk is actually a proponent of the pronatalism, which I think is a good thing.
Right.
Which but like, who knows? Why is he such a proponent of it? Is it to
Right.
charge his, Tesla Borg? I don't know, but
Well,
I think it's interesting.
yeah, so when you talk about population, there's the statistics show when your population, when you go past having two kids, so the average I think in America, and even Europe, I think it's about 1.3. When you get to about 1.3, 1.2, it is that your population never comes back. It eventually dies out within like 100 or 200 years, like it's gone. And that's what we're seeing right now. And when you look at the Muslim population, even in Europe, you're looking at about 8.1 kids per family. So they're just taking over. What do you think about that? Have you ever
Oh
looked into
yeah,
like
the religious communities are doing very well. Israel's growing very well. The Jewish community is growing very well. The Muslim community is growing well. I think even I don't know, but I think also like the Christian communities and whatever, just religious communities in general, it's just part
interesting,
of, it's part of like that. So
the
that's
culture,
been,
right?
yeah, yeah. So that none of the work.
Right.
The thing that I kind of look at living in the city, Las Vegas and Arizona and whatnot, California, I lived for a little bit. The the city is narcissistic, will to
Hmm.
power, and a lot of people don't understand what narcissism is. You got to read Alexander Lowen's work on narcissism to understand it. It's the killing of the emotions of oneself through a very traumatic experience with the evil mother. So, with society and these broken homes and all of this, the loving mother is absolutely important um, for these homes. And what happens, and this is just like statistically or whatever, like there's bad fathers too, like I said, with the whole coward stuff, that or not the heroic
Right.
father figure that we need. That's why people are grabbing on to the anti-hero so much. That's why does people love the Joker or Charles
Mm.
Manson or criminals, or even I would say why is Adolf so popular now? Uh, because he was portrayed as the villain in Hollywood. He was the Hollywood villain. Hollywood villains are what's popular. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And I
Right.
think it's because of the lack of heroic uh, figures for us to look up to, or whatnot.
Absolutely.
Michael Tessarian has broken this down absolutely incredibly on his podcast, better than I could ever do. But and all the topics I talk about, Malcolm and Simone talk about pronatalism really good. Base camp when it comes to that. But the narcissism thing, I feel like I really do understand well. And what happened is that people cut off their emotions so they're not themselves anymore. And they operate like a robot.
Mm.
And the only function to the human is power. How can I get more power? And I could see this with social media. If you post something and you get more likes for posting something, if you're narcissistic, you're going to double down on that for the likes. And it
Oh
also
yeah.
brings you money too.
Right.
So, so we could see kind of that happening with the brain rot and whatnot. But when it comes to dating, it is just very empty because everybody's an accessory.
Mm.
The female is the trophy, right? Or the guy is like a purse. It's all about the wedding photo. It's all about the social status. And for women, they're social creatures. Men were not as much in tune with that intelligence as much
Yeah, we don't get
as
engulfed
women.
in vanity like women tend to do.
Women, yeah, and they're nurturers. They protect the child, and all that. Um, So with women, since they're such social creatures, they'll follow the herd more so than a man would. A man will be
Mm.
like, F the herd, in a sense, in a
Right,
sense.
right, right.
Um, just kind of connecting dots here. That's what we see. We see women getting together with people that the herd or society says for you to get together with. Now, who's the herd? Well, that's what the Kim Kardashians or
Mm-hmm.
the whatever the television tells us. That's the hero. That's who you need to be with. And it always changes. It's always changing. Everybody, like every time it's always changing. So there's just a lot going on. I probably just vomited out way too much.
No,
No,
not at
no,
all.
you're
I think
good.
you're spot on, dude.
I wanted to mention something about population control. I think one of the biggest things that people overlook with population control is they don't look at the hive mind concept, and that whole hive mind concept, stems with a queen bee, right? And the queen bee runs and controls the social structure of the rest of the colony. The queen bee also, is able to control male or female. We see that kind of playing in our society. The queen bee is also able to send pheromones off to control the behavior, right, of the worker bees and all of this, which we may see down the line with Yuval Harari talking about, this new transhumanism, this different kind of Homo sapien, right? We don't really know what that's going to look like. But what I tie also with the hive mind is the Georgia Guidestones, right? The Georgia Guidestones talks about population control. Obviously, you see the number one thing on the list is 500 million people, right? And that population should not exceed that. Well, what's so funny is that the queen also controls, the population control of the hive, right? And the whole purpose behind it is to control the social structure, and because of other things too, why she controls the social structure. It's because of environmental conditions. What do we see playing in our day today, right? There's a bunch of environmental conditions that they're talking about that are detrimental to our civilization, right? So I think to I think too that these elites, these groups, these families that are controlling the world, right? I believe that, but I think that they also they have some sort of bee worship, right? And you can look at ancient Egypt. There's honey bee worship. There's bee worship that goes all the way back to the Sumerians. It's very interesting, and I think that that's whole part of this Babylonian mindset, the Tower of Babel, right? The antediluvian period before the flood. Who really knows exactly what the world was like? But maybe it was that kind of concept. Especially like looking at some of the scriptures when it says, Noah was perfect in his generations. He was like one of those bees that was just different, right? Maybe not accepted and didn't participate in the rest of the world, right? And maybe that's a big thing with this transhumanism movement, is that it's for the purpose and the concept to have this constructed hive mind mentality that is a part of society now, right?
Yeah. And going back to your population control, it's clear to me, seeing the eugenics programs and the certain cultures that are targeted, and those probably are primarily the cultures that won't go along with that. They won't. They're going to tend to not go along with these new changes that are, like you said, we're going to diet down. Like, these guys are going to go along with it, these guys aren't. All right, well, what are we going to do about that?
Well, another thing too with the hive mind is like it helps sustain the integrity of the colony. And so with more things happening, more crises and all of this, like that's 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 just more reason to push towards more of a hive mind mentality. Like we need better structure so that these things don't happen anymore, right? Um, it's all interesting. There's little connections with all the things. Obviously, Donut, you know that with making all the videos you do. There's so many golden nuggets flying around here that just the coincidences are not coincidences. I guess.
Yeah,
I
and then
guess to
like
say.
I like the Illuminati animals, so I've been looking at all the different bugs and insects and animals and horses and all that. But the Illuminati is called the Order of the Bees. And then you got the
Oh,
Masonic symbolism with the beehive. And I even saw the fleur de lis looks a lot like a bee too, somewhat. But then you got the Napoleon Bonaparte, and he had all the bees like all over his outfit, as well as he was a big like
Ah.
connected to like
Interesting.
Freemasonry. Yeah, so that's one of those big Illuminati symbols. But you're right.
Yeah.
Even the whole crowd mind, the hive mind, if you put eyeballs everywhere, it lowers crime. So it's like, okay, you put
Palantir.
eyeballs everywhere, Palantir, yeah, when you're being watched. But there's a moral component in the scriptures that God's watching everything we do, so
Right.
you're not going to want to do bad stuff if you like know God's
Right.
watching.
Right.
But on a manipulative type controlling population management is putting these white eyeballs all over the place. It's on the money, it's on
Right.
the CBS logo. Now, like the whole viral moment, cameras are everywhere. You can't even be a billionaire and get
Right.
away with cheating anymore.
Yeah, and I have to throw this in there because it's funny you mentioned it. Something. There's going to be something in the future where people, when they're ignorant, they're going to understand that something is watching them. If you're of a religion or if you're of a certain faith, your mindset is that your God is watching. But let's just take this thought experiment as an example. And like I have dominion over Siri right now, right? Like I control my phone. Um it 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 absorbs and sucks data from me each and every day, but I still have dominion over it. I could throw this off a cliff and I would win, right? But once it's in the body, now I think things start to get a little bit more complicated and things start to change a little bit. Who knows if consciousness plays a huge part in that? But I do think that when you're of faith and a certain religion, you're keeping God in your mind, where if you do something wrong, God's watching, right? But in the future, maybe it'll be something along the lines of where if I do this wrong, Palantir's watching or Siri's watching, AI's watching me. If it's integrated into the body, right? Because now it's recording, it's monitoring body activity data, brain waves, heart rate, blood pressure, blood sugar, cancer, all kinds of things. It has a lot of good benefits, right? But at the end of the day, what are you worshiping if that thing is inside of you per se? You know?
Yeah,
You
the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Right on, man. Right on.
So
So
instead of people are going to be fearing, no, it's a very interesting. People would fear the Palantir technologies, so they'll do the right thing because of that, but they're not doing it because of fear of God
right.
or I
And
don't
no,
know
and
or
who knows
whatever.
if that's what it's meant, right? Like in this revelation where it's like those that worship the beast, it's like maybe it doesn't have to be like the the pop cultural understanding of worship. You're on your hands and knees, you're bowing, right? Or you're praying to it 5 times a day or whatever, right? But rather that it's in your consciousness, it's in your mind, and you're aware of it, and now in you're living your life in regards to its decisions of you, and maybe what it can allow you to do. Maybe it won't grant you this money. Maybe it won't grant you this. Uh, I don't know, right? It's complex, but who
Mhm.
knows? Again, this podcast gets a little dark. Everyone, take a breath, breathe in, breathe
Yeah.
out. All right, God's in control, right? Just like Donut said, and so I wanted to kind of switch. We'll switch into a different topic here. You brought up, unless you wanted to respond or say anything to that.
No, no, you're
You
good.
good? Okay, so you mentioned horses probably like 3-4 minutes ago, and it made me think of you making a video of methylene blue. There was
Ah,
Lucifer on the thumbnail. Break that down for us, because number one, there's so many things that are a part of our society today, our culture. We think things are trendy, right? And we just kind of catch on and just catch on the trend train, right? And we don't really know exactly the roots and the implications of what we're doing. So, so just break that down for us. Methylene blue in that video you kind of did.
Yeah, so I made a movie called The Illuminati Stallions. I've doing this whole thing of different Illuminati animals. So I've done the Illuminati penguins. You got Illuminati owls like Bohemian Grove, the bees. So there's all these different animals. I was really obsessed with the Illuminati dolphins and going into that precursor of MK Ultra mind control with the studies of the dolphins and isolation tanks and all the different mind altering chemicals that brought on MK Ultra. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do the Illuminati horses next. And I was also studying and looking into why is every freaking podcast promoting methylene blue, like everybody. And I've been in this like truther community long enough. There was tangy tangerine, there was goji berries, there was maca powder, and I would go to all the stores like back in 2012. I'm gonna try this thing. I'll try this thing, and what the heck's going on? And then you got to drink your piss, and that's going to heal you as well. And so like there's like all these different things. So I'm like, why is every freaking pot, every single one was saying, drink this methylene blue.
Right.
And so I'm looking at the two different topics, and then I saw that there's a correlation to the blue with Mel Gibson, the head of Hollywood. He, according to Donald Trump, he made him the head of Hollywood. That he was promoting this methylene blue, and he made that movie about painting people blue and sacrificing them to the Aztec god, which is all true.
Apocalypto.
Apocalypto,
Right.
where this is real. The Aztec, where they would paint offerings blue and throw it into a C note or whatever for the rain god chalk, so they can have So this blue pigment, which had health benefits like curing diarrhea and whatnot. So I'm not saying methylene blue is a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it has health benefits. I have no idea, but it is coming from Freemasonic Rockefeller type connections. That's where it's coming from. And I don't know, is that organic? I try to just like be as natural as possible. So
Right.
I had no problem talking crap about it. It's so this was just being pushed so heavily while I'm doing this horse documentary. And then there's Lucifer too, which is this horse at the Denver, Colorado airport. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to just make a creative video, make it like Monty Python, make it hilarious. I don't think people know that it's freaking hilarious when they watch it. I triggered everybody in the comment, but it went viral. Why did it go viral? It got like 100,000 views because that's what wanted to be pushed in the algorithms at that time. People are like, you're, oh my goodness. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but why all the horse stuff? You got the horse medications for the truth movement. You got the horse tranquilizers for the Silicon Valley. You got all the different ketamine, which is a known horse tranquilizer. I've done it before. I don't do it. I'm 10 years sober. I didn't know I was doing ketamine. I thought I was doing something else because it was like a white powder, and I thought it was going to be a good time, and it wasn't. I was in a K-hole in Taco Bell. It was awful.
Oh man, that's crazy.
It was absolutely. I'm sober now.
Thank God it wasn't fentanyl, dude. That you would be done, boy.
This was before that. This was before that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I never did that. I'm just saying that was before that was pushed.
Right.
You can't touch anything today. Everything is like mixed with that. So don't just stay sober. Being sober, I think it's even in the Bible. I don't know if it is or not, but stay sober and vigilant. Maybe that doesn't mean sober, but like sober minded. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I like to be sober minded. Just because.
You're at the peak of your awareness when you're sober.
Right.
I will say that.
I like that.
Yeah, you're at the peak of your awareness, and your thoughts are crisp, right? And your critical thinking skills are at its highest potential. And I think why these things tend to be circulating around culture and society today. I mean, things are becoming decriminalized, right? And so everyone's starting to just do something, right? Marijuana, this, that, whatever. But I think it alters the consciousness state at a certain point to where you become like docile in a certain way, to where it doesn't affect me. So who cares, right?
For me, it became my God. So that's why I don't go near it, because I would need it in the morning, the nighttime, no matter what I did, I would need it. So it became like a god in a sense.
Oh
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
right.
And the only way that I was able to not do it today was because of God. So that's how I
Beautiful.
know that there's like a spiritual
Right on.
component in life. That's why alcoholics and addicts, the ones that are like working on sobriety and they're sober, they're more connected to God in a lot of ways. And even the rabbis will talk about this too, where they're like a lot of different ones will talk about it, because you go down this addiction hole, you're in hell. You're literally going to hell in a sense. And then you get out of that through God and through action. Faith without works is dead. I believe that's in the
Yep.
Bible too. So you take action and you get this, and to remove this obsession to keep drinking or doing drugs, having God do that for me rather than me do it. So I don't take responsibility for my sobriety. I do take responsibility for my actions, though. So that's the faith without works is dead. And for that to work, you, there's a spiritual experience that happens, a psyche change, and the psyche is the soul. That's what Carl Jung meant when he said psyche. And so you need a something to change in your soul through God. And so that brings on a whole nother level. That's what opened me up back up to like God and spirituality and all that, was that. And so to stay sober or to stay in serenity for the most part, there's got to be certain actions that need to be taken. And that is a lot of the stuff that's like part of like being a good person, that, no adultery, no, like screwing over the neighbor, or no, doing bad things or lying or whatever. And so that's why it is like these people that are alcoholics and addicts, people kind of shun them like they're terrible. But once they work on themselves and get better, they're even more connected
Hmm.
to God in a lot of ways, because they don't want to go back to that.
Right.
So they got to live like a life. Not everyone's perfect or nothing. Everyone's a human and is gonna screw up, and nobody's just like a saint or whatever. Everybody's a
Right.
freaking human who's gonna screw up
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
It's our tendencies, man. And it's unfortunately it's kind of like we're born into it. We're born into this little flesh suit. And it doesn't really want to do good things.
Right.
And I think that being sober, you hold yourself with your morals and your ethics and just your mind. It's just higher stand. You hold yourself at higher standards.
Oh,
Um,
I mean, but I'm telling you, bro, I've done more stupid stuff sober than I did drinking, and so that's where the God got to come in, and me taking accountability and start changing my actions and my
right.
attitudes or
So,
whatever.
so, so you mentioned Lucifer, and I mean, we know Lucifer, right? The Denver airport. Have you dug it? Have you made any videos on Denver airport or anything like that? Have you dug into that conspiracy?
Well, like you said in the beginning, like bringing new research, and not parroting what everyone else has talked about, how, they've got the painting down there, they got the reptilians down there, the reptiles and the underground bases. One of the things that I think I brought to the truther community was the building upon symbolism that Jordan Maxwell talked about, of the symbol of the Aket. And the symbol of Aket, he was connecting to the symbol for world communism, which is the symbol of a sun rising over a mountain. This is the Obama logo. This is the Soviet logo. Even you got these communist socialist parties called the Sunrise Movement or whatever, the sun rising over the mountain. The symbol of the Aket, which is a sun rising in between the Twin Peaks. And I also think this is where the show The Twin Peaks come from, and also Aleister Crowley's Secret Society of the A in the A. I can't even pronounce the name of that society, but the Twin Peaks, I think, is connected to it. In the symbol of the Denver, Colorado airport, if you look at the building, it's the symbol of the Aket. It's the same symbol that Bill, the guy that likes McDonald's, Bill, the Microsoft guy, he, on his book, has the same symbol of this Aket. And that's the Denver airport is built in this ancient Egyptian symbol. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the sun rises right in the middle of it during like a summer solstice. I don't know if it does or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I think
Yeah,
that's
it's interesting too that it's the New World Airport, right? It's almost like I have these thoughts where this is an air this is this is an extraction point or a rendezvous area where I feel these elites might at some point during whatever cataclysms, like why does Bill G, right? Like, why does he have a doomsday vault, right, up in Norway, right? Like, why are these elites building underground bunkers? There's something that they know that may be coming in the future, or else they wouldn't be preparing for it. And it seems like it's a big rendezvous point where maybe all these elites at some point will all come to and try to hide themselves in the mountains or try to hide themselves underground. Obviously there's the conspiracies with the funding of the Denver airport where it was funded something in the billions before it actually broke ground, and then it was funded again to build the Denver airport. And so uh, who's the guy who exposed the DUMBs, right, the deep underground military bases? I forget his name.
yeah,
Oh,
Schneider.
Yep, Phil
Phil
Schneider.
Schneider,
Yep.
right. Right.
Yep.
So maybe that's something too. I don't know why else they would name it New World Airport, and have runways coming in from north, south, east, and west. So
Hmm.
it's interesting. It's almost like a convergence point where they can all meet up together for a sanctuary. I don't know.
Yeah, they're all building these bunkers up in New Zealand. Peter Thiel got them in New Zealand. Zuckerberg, a report just came out today that he's built upon his compound in Hawaii. A
Hmm.
lot of the elites are in Hawaii. I think that's a good strategic location for a lot of reasons. That's why they all moved there. Oprah Winfrey, Ellison, everybody, they
Hmm.
all live. They all live there. Um, so it is interesting. They probably do know something will happen. But
Right.
if I had $1 billion too, I'd have the coolest layer ever. You know
Right.
what I mean? I'd be chilling too. Like, so I don't blame
Facts.
them.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
the blue, going back to the blue stuff, is like the Maui fires, with all the blue roofs and the blue umbrellas that weren't burnt down. It's very weird, man,
Right.
with all that.
Walmart is blue. Everything inside of it's blue. There's a
Hmm.
comforting atmosphere when it comes to blue, and I've noticed something too interesting, that the frequency range for the color blue, obviously this is where 666 can fall into play, where it falls in that range. And it's not the color blue doesn't have a frequency of exactly 666, but the frequency falls within that range of 666. So there's something possibly to it. I see a lot in movies too, especially movies when it comes to like magic. I was watching um, Warcraft, the movie Warcraft, the World of Warcraft movie, which was made in 2016. But the good magic in the movie was blue. The bad magic was green. And if biblically you look at that, well, God's throne is emerald, it's green, and we know that blue might have some sort of connections with Lucifer, Satan, whatever you want to call him. But I'm like, man, there's these things play at me with movies. I can't sit back and watch movies anymore because I'm always like trying to cipher things out of movies in that way. It's interesting stuff, man. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, so blue vibrates at like a higher frequency than red does. So you'll have on a police car the blue and the red lights.
Hmm.
The blue light is actually we see more so than the red light because it holds more like data or information with like a Blu-ray disc or a Bluetooth. So like the blue with technology has something to do, but symbolically, it is like a calming color, like the sky's blue. It's like more open mind. All the lower like chakra energy of the food, fast food is always red and orange and
Mm.
whatever. Even I've been looking into a lot of the podcasts, like the Truther podcasts, that are more mainstream. They're billionaires going on yachts. All the people telling us the truth. Elon Musk tweeting them out, people going on their shows, whatever, with the top richest people alive. I mean, it's absolutely incredible how like retarded society is, that they don't know what's going on. All their symbols are this like fast food colors. So I think
Mm.
it's like fast food conspiracy theories, it's just like bad for you. Um, but I was reading The Secret Teachings of All Ages, and it went into the different colors as well, that they are symbolic.
And that's with Manly P Hall.
Yeah, Manly P. Hall, he wrote this when he was 27,
Mm.
before AI, before Google. It took him years to write, but I mean, it's absolutely incredible, uh, the work he did in
Can you
this.
tell us a little bit about Manly P Hall?
Me- I wish I knew a lot about him. I don't. I know that Jordan Maxwell, who's like one of my heroes, in this whole like symbolic research and secret societies, he was a big fan of him. Um, and I think he became like a Mason, as well, a Freemason. He's very highly admired for this book and a lot of his lectures, where he goes over symbolism and secret societies and all that. I haven't really dived deep into his work.
Interesting.
So this is actually a new thing that I'm reading for a project I'm doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a book I'm reading. It's called Zeitgeist 2025. The author's Tom Horn. He's a renowned guy in the Christian community that really has been tying a lot of things in with Apollo, Osiris, Nimrod, all of this like ancient worship of this one deity that and if no one's really familiar with the Osiris ritual, you watch it every 4 years when the president pretty much gets elected and is standing in front of the Capitol building, right? And the time of the day is actually plays in a role with this. You've got the Egyptian phallus, right, where it represents impregnation, where when they elect and they choose a king, technically the king dies, goes down into the underworld, goes back up, and then goes to heaven. But what's reincarnated in the king is the old ruler, right? Like this divine entity that's supposed to keep ruling forever. It just reincarnates through each emperor, king, pharaoh, whatever you want to call it. And the fact that we do that in America, and with how much Masonic symbolism is in Washington, D.C., it makes me think of Manly P. Hall's book, The Secret Destiny of America. And in this book, he writes, the outcome of the secret destiny is a world order ruled by a king with supernatural powers. This king was descended of a divine race. That is, he belonged to the order of the illuminated. For those who come to the state of wisdom then belong to a family of heroes perfecting human beings. And so what are your thoughts on that? If the secret destiny of America, right? Because you have to understand the Great Seal, right, which is on the back of the dollar bill. It was created by John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson. And when they're creating these things, which I think that they were some sort of occultists in their own nature. It's very interesting that in 1998, in Benjamin Franklin's home, which I think he lived in it from like 1857 to something, but they found bodies right at in his home. They found bones that were roughly 200 years old, which fell in the same time frame of around that 1776, that early 1800 time frame. It makes me think like, what is the true goal and the true destiny of America? Is it to bring in one ruler that is to rule the world with supernatural powers? I'm like, I can't really. I can make some conclusions of what that may be, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Didn't they talk about the golden age in that book too?
They talked about the golden age, and the golden age is the return of Saturnalia, right? So what's really crazy, right? We have Donald Trump talking about the golden age. We have the Olympics taking place, I think, what, in Los Angeles? I could be wrong, but anyways, when I
Yes.
was looking at the trophy of 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 the Olympics, it's a wheel within a wheel. It's many wheels within a wheel, but the inner core of it looks just like Saturn. And then when I
Oh
look at the
wow.
oh yeah, when I look at the Abraham Accords coin, right, with which has Cyrus, King Cyrus, and Trump on it, which it's a lot of parallels and symbolic for that he's going to be the one that comes back and builds the third temple and all this. But on the back of the coin, it's got a big scimitar sword, and illustrated inside the scimitar sword, you have many different things. You have binary code, you have satellites, you've got needles, you've got all different kinds of things. And at the top, you have a dove and you have Saturn. And so I'm like, okay,
Oh
are
wow,
they, are
really?
they really trying to bring back, you know, the reign of Saturn? And again, there's satanic connections with all that. We know that, especially with, Jordan Maxwell. He's the one that actually showed me that, the fact that Saturn representing Satan, and the worship of Saturn, we can see around the world in certain religions that, especially in the Middle East, they do in a way Saturn worship, right? They circulate around the dome of the rock, or I think it's called, or I forget what exactly it's a black cube, pretty much. It's this ancient meteorite that came down to Earth that they they do rituals around, and it's a cube, right? But when you look at the North Pole, pretty much, of Saturn, it's a six-sided, it's a hexagon, right? But when you look at a cube from a 3D perspective, at it, not at a square side, but where it intersects, it also makes a hexagon as well. So I'm like, man, there's all these connections. It makes me make these certain conclusions. What is the return of Saturn? Is it to bring in this supernatural deity, this being? And I guess we can kind of get into the talk of aliens, because it makes me think of that as well. What do you think they're preparing us for?
Yeah, the Saturn symbolism is interesting, and all three Abrahamic religions use the Saturn symbol as well, like a cube. Like, I mean, you gotta like on all the religions,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of goes into. I looked a lot into the astrotheology and all that and stuff, but when it comes to Saturnalia, that was a Roman holiday at Rome, which is a lot of connections to like Christmas as well, Saturnalia. Um, but the Saturnian age brings up the federal edifice, which is this freaking old newspaper report in the 1700s, and it showed these two towers collapsing, these two pillars collapsing to bring in the Saturnian age. So
Whoa, dude, that's crazy, bro.
it is crazy. Yeah. So like there's like so much symbolism there of like two towers
9/11.
collapsing.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
now they have now at 9/11 there's a cube like where ground zero is
Right,
Right.
too. So
right.
the cube symbolism is interesting that Jordan Maxwell was pointing out a lot with Saturn, because the top of Saturn, the north of it, makes this hexagon. And
Right.
yeah, it is interesting. But I don't know so much about like the Middle East cultures being Saturn worshippers. I think that it's more eclectic, that there's a lot of different planets and stuff like that involved in it. But that symbol of the cube is definitely
Yeah,
Saturn,
and
which
I
is
yeah, I think
father time.
right.
It's Chronos. It's
Mm.
time running out.
Right. And I think too that a big part of the cube, right, in this concept of Saturn, and I'm going to tie this into with like the Abraham Accords coin. I think that those symbols are resembling an alchemical change with humanity, right? And this plays into what we were even talking about pretty much the whole podcast saying before, earlier in the show. Like they want to transform humanity. They want to move us from lead to gold, right? And alchemy is really I've taken it more as like a concept rather than it's talking about a specific thing. And I think that it's this new revolution that's going to not only excel man's consciousness, and that we need to we're going to be like these ascending masters. It's our time to be called up, you know, in a way.
Yeah, there's a lot too. Like the different what I thought was interesting is the Daniel, right? Where it's like that statue where it's the Bronze Age and that with the 10 toes, like in
Hmm.
its different colors. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which goes into the whole color kind of symbolism too.
it's
Yeah,
wild.
it's deep. I wish I knew more about it, but I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and
Right.
it's funny too. What is it in Daniel, that last kingdom, right? Because I think it's describing kingdoms, right? Empires that have gone and take their course throughout history, and a lot of this is prophecy as well. Because again, Daniel's writing this during the Babylonian reign, and he didn't really know that the Roman Empire was going to exist, but he described it as the one with iron, right? But you have this last kingdom, which I think is going to be this new Atlantis. It's this concept where it's the last pitch they have to hit, where it's the last thing to come. And when I was investigating XAI, right, we know that Elon Musk, that it's located in Memphis. uh,
Oh,
memphis
wow.
Memphis having ties to the ancient god of Egypt, Ptah, which is the god of all the other gods. But what's interesting is what he named the compound. He named the compound Colossus. And so I'm a Marvel guy. So I started doing research. And so Colossus is actually one of the X-Men. And he's one of the X-Men that is, he looks like the jock from a football team you would see in college or high school, right? But all of a sudden, he could turn into iron,
Hmm.
right? And so, but where I'm getting at is in Daniel talks about this last kingdom where it's iron and clay, and clay technically represents like humans, like our nature. Like we were created from the dust of the ground, right? So you're going to have this combination of iron and clay, where is Elon kind of alluding to something like this, where AI might play a huge role in this transhumanism, which it definitely does. And is it going to play a part of expanding us to that next level of more of an elite race, right? And I think really, like, you look at the Nazis, you look at everything, you look at Hitler, they wanted to be that superior race. There's always like this type
Well, they're
of
getting that from the
right.
theosophy, the root races. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And also the iron. He's like Iron Man, with the
Hmm.
iron.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, isn't it funny too? Like he's a man, but then he's iron, right? And it's like this mixture, or this companionship between humanity and machine, maybe, or technology. I don't really know exactly. I think it's all interesting to talk about. It really is. So
Well,
much to it.
Memphis is kind of interesting because Aleister Crowley was part of the Memphis Rite Miserium, which was the secret society, which is, I think pretty huge on the world stage with the powers that be. because they were all into theosophy.
Hmm.
Like Adolf, very much inspired by theosophy. So was Gandhi, and so you got all this occult, like the secret America, right? The secret, the hidden. The hidden is the occult. The occult is like
Right.
secret. It's hidden in a
Right.
sense.
Yeah, it's funny
Um,
these occultists they make their own kind of spin on theosophy, and they it's the Thule Society, or Aleister Crowley created what, Thelma? Is that what it's called?
yeah, the Thelema or
The
Thelma or
Thelma.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all kind of seems like their own little spin off of
It was a bunch of spin-offs. You're right. They're all like stealing from each other. They're all like, yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's all like, they're all like, they're jacking their style. Yeah.
Right,
yeah, yeah,
right. They'll call it a different name
right,
for the same concept.
right.
They're trying to be the icon of the information. Come into my group.
Right, right, right.
I
Yeah,
need
crazy.
your spirit power now.
Right,
Yeah. For a small fee.
right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Now I had a question for you. Do you think there are rituals and sacrifices taking place, you know, in front of us?
Like,
Like
for sure.
in a way, it's like we don't see it that way, but it is. Like let's just say 2020, for example, right? There's a lot of death, right? But
And the
I'm
nurses
wondering,
were dancing around and making all their,
right? Because when I look at the word, you know, COV, you know where I'm getting at. When you spell it backwards, it means it's Divok, right? But it's
Right.
it's an ancient spirit, right? And so I'm like, was that whole thing also a ritual? Who knows?
Yeah. I think the Super Bowl is like the biggest
Mm.
ritual
Oh
more so
wow.
than anything else.
Right.
So rituals, like everybody does rituals. Like people wake up and they take a shower, like that's their morning ritual.
Right.
So religions, we all got rituals that people do. And these ancient cults, they had rituals as well for fertility. For example, the fertility rituals, there'd be like an orgy on the field, and the sacrifice, and the blood gets into the oil. And so when I'm thinking about the Super Bowl, I've been connecting it to fertility rites with
Mm.
Ishtar. And there's before me, people were doing that. Isaac Weishaupt was showing this. Robert Anton Wilson was talking about it. So there's a lot of evidence showing that things like the Super Bowl is a fertility rite, and it makes total sense. So when the lockdowns happen, it was a ritual on stage of all men. So there was no fertility. You had the weekend and the graveyard behind him, and then all the people fell and collapsed on the stage during that ritual where we were all locked in home at that time. Then the years that came up was Rihanna being pregnant, for example. And this newest one was Kendrick Lamar. And I think that goes into the new Homo sapien, where they're mixing man with some new type of uh, technology, because all the other Super Bowls was only red and white. And I'm like, oh, that's some Knights Templar stuff, the red and white everywhere. But this new one was red, white, and blue. So for the exoteric, we're like, oh, it's the American flag. But why didn't they have red, white, and blue on all of them? It was just red and white to this one, where it's red, white, and blue. And I think it had something to do symbolically of this new species that they're putting something into the human and mixing it to create some kind of new kind of thing.
Yeah,
What
we
how
did
did you
we did
get
an
how did you
episode.
come to that conclusion with that, with the Kendrick Lamar? Like what signs did you see where you were like, this is what it is?
So I have on my Rumble, you can watch, and I broke it down pretty good. It's kind of not fresh in my head. It's just studying this whole transhuman 2040 agenda
Hmm.
of where it's all going and all the events that happen. Every Super Bowl, I really look into it. I do some really great decode symbolically of it. and blending it in with what is the agenda of the technocrats. Like, we can see the AI takeover. We can see Elon Musk starting a new party. We can see that there's occult elves and sorcerers
Mm.
behind him with the dark MAGA that is influencing that new party and influencing the White House today. Because we sort of need that in a sense, because we want to be on top of the tech game for sure in America. But when I looked at that Kendrick Lamar one, that's just, I'm sort of putting in the agenda of what I think is happening.
Hmm.
So that's kind of how I connected that. Because of, I don't want to get too crazy, but you said I could get crazy
Yeah,
on
yeah,
here.
go,
Crazy,
go.
baby. I got my pen out. You're good. I'm gonna
So
write it
these
down.
fertility rites are like about and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So, and sex and blood and all that, the sex magic that goes on. So when the weekend was doing his ritual, because that's when I started to, document the rituals and tied it to the sex magic. And I was laughed at. I mean, I was laughed at like crazy when I was like, the weekend's doing a sex magic ritual. Now other people are out on big mainstream podcasts talking about the sex magic rituals or whatever. But it was all men. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And right behind him, it says, touch yourself alone. And
What?
yeah, in the grave. So there's all these graves. It says, touch yourself all alone. We were all alone, locked at home. People were touching themselves like wild. It was all over the place, like the statistics and data, because of people being scared or whatever. I don't know. It had nothing to do what's going on. Um, and it was all men, and they looked like little, and they all collapsed after the fireworks, which I thought was like the.
Oh,
So I don't know. So
wow.
Interesting.
I got laughed at for that or whatever. But then the next year comes and it's Rihanna, who's an egg. She's literally an egg. And I'm like, this is a fertility ritual. And this is before she revealed she was pregnant.
Mm.
And so, like, there was no fertility. Then she's this egg, and it was at the All State Stadium, which is three eggs is the symbol. Then she reveals she's pregnant and throws up the Illuminati triangle
Mm.
uh, at the end. And then, so that's sort of how I'm like connecting it.
Yeah, there is a lot of symbolism with the egg, especially what
Yes.
was it, the Kentucky Fried Chicken
Yeah.
commercial or
Well,
something?
also,
Yeah.
yeah, there's that, but also there's a famous Salvador Dali painting of the birth of the new man, the Geopoliticus birth of a new man, which is like this man being birthed out of like an egg. So just thinking of the birthing of a new man with the egg symbolism also kind of tied into that. And there's this other guy who's a fashion guy. He did the Cream Master cycle. Now, don't Google that because that's like a dirty word. But the Cream Master cycle showed like the football and like eggs and masons, and it was freaking. It's a wild thing to
Wow.
watch,
You know,
and
I
I
think
think that's tied
I
into it.
think too, I think a lot of it has to do with the symbolism of the phoenix, right? We can see that especially in the mural of one of the meeting halls of the United Nations. There's a phoenix coming up out of its dead skin, right? And it's in the middle of the table, and everyone's looking at it. And obviously, you've got these other paintings of society kind of mingled within it, collaged throughout it. And I do think I it's like I think it was even a Manley P. Hall book. I can't, don't quote me on this, but I think he talks about this the logo, the symbol of America. It's not technically an eagle, yet it's a phoenix. And the fact that this rebirth process really kind of plays into in, a big part of us going into a new age, this golden age, whatever it is. And I wonder if there is something to that. Obviously, we don't know exactly. We could just point out the weird coincidences with everything, but
It's funny in this Salvador Dali painting. I just looked it up, and there's like this androgynous like woman slash man in the corner with a baby at her feet. It looks
Whoa.
like a man, but it's a woman. It clearly looks like a woman, and she's pointing at the egg, and there's like this other human that's like looks like a man that's coming out of the egg, but she's also pointing at a specific part of a geographical map of the Earth, and she's pointing at like I don't even know where that is, but it's just really weird. It's like an androgynous woman, and that's what we see right now in our society. It's becoming like what was the culture that wanted to usher in an androgynous society? What was that? Was
Well, I
it?
think the Roman Empire had something to do with that, right? Well, it's just that sexuality became demoralized, right? And we're kind of seeing that today, especially with certain states are different, obviously, depending on where they sit politically, and right, the states have the power. You can do pretty much anything. You can decide to have a sex change at 4 years old in some states, but it's weird, and I think it's not good. I don't think it makes sense. Let's just say that. But I mean, it's crazy, man. Donut, we got a few more minutes left, man. We've been with you for a little over 2 hours. It's been a great conversation. Jesse, you got anything
Yeah, I
you
wanted
wanted
to
to?
ask you real
There you
quick
go.
if you, where did you? So I know you said you worked for this company. What was the company for? Like a day? You don't have to say the company, but what? It was a news company or that you
Oh
worked
yeah,
with?
I 10 years. I worked for Christopher Green at AMTV. He
Okay,
covered geopolitics, so we were
okay,
covering all the different war stuff, geopolitics, all the stuff, like everything. And his company started getting more into crypto. He told everybody
oh
to
wow.
buy crypto
What
back,
year was
like
this?
I think it was around 2016, 2015. He
Okay,
was taking me to all these like different crypto things, and I
wow.
was I was laughing at everyone. I was like,
Yeah.
"You're in a cult." And if I would have just invested like he did,
Oh
I'd be
man.
super rich like
Oh
he
yeah.
is. But he's the homie. But I learned a lot about so many different topics.
Right.
Uh, yeah.
So with that being said, what
And he was
really?
laughed at for telling people to buy Bitcoin and
Of
all this
course,
stuff. Everyone, I mean, top podcasters, these famous podcasters were like, ha ha ha. And everyone was like, ha ha ha. Not one
of
apology
course.
from them.
Of course not. It's crazy. My dad had like he went to a conference and was somebody gifted him. I think Bitcoin was 100 and some odd dollars at the time per
Oh, that's
coin,
crazy. That's
and he
insane.
was gifted like a dozen or something like that.
That's nuts.
I can't remember where he got it, but he sold it like pretty quickly. Like this
Yeah,
guy.
anybody who was smart would have. Like, whoa, like,
Oh man, that's rough. But what I was getting at with this is like, what got you into like the conspiracy community? Like, what was the first moment, if you can remember, that was like, whoa, this is eye opening.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
what opened your eyes first? What was the first thing?
Well, since I was a kid, I was like always into like the X Files and
Mm,
questioning the government and, little punk rocker and
mm-hmm.
whatever, and not liking the industry. And the internet was just coming out. And I'm like, how come none of the adults can answer any of my questions? Why are they all so stupid?
Mm,
I'm asking them
interesting.
all this stuff. And then I just had this distrust and disdain for authority, which is a healthy thing for a child to go through. And Monty Python, I would say, would have
Ah,
been the big red pill for me. Monty
really?
Python. Yeah, just how brilliant they are, and just they're questioning like authority and just how this doesn't make sense and how
Right.
stupid like everybody is all throughout history. And then that kind of advanced into uh, the Jordan Maxwell. I learned about
Mm,
him, and I was like, this is freaking nuts. Then I learned about Alex Jones, and I was like, oh
mm-hmm.
my God, this is freaking nuts. And it just continues that's
Down the
sort of
rabbit
the
hole you
story.
Yeah,
go.
I think it snowballs after Alex Jones and
Hard.
Bohemian Grove for
Yeah.
me.
Right. Right.
after oh, there's the cat. That's awesome.
I wanted to say too, me and Donut over here went to the same high school, didn't we?
Yes.
In
That high
Vegas.
school's built off of a prison.
Yes, it
So
was.
the school's based on, it's a simulacra of a prison, watching all the
Yep.
students.
Oh
We had a good
wow.
long conversation about that at Bohemian Grove, because it's like all of it was such prison mentality in that joint, man. There's so many kids, so many different groups, and so many fights every day. It was
The lead
crazy.
Yeah.
singer of Panic at the Disco
Right.
also went there too.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on, dude. Right
So every
on.
time I hear that song in the markets, I'm all like, that guy's rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had this one question for you, man, and we'll wrap it up right after this. But at Bohemian Grove, right? You got to participate on a panel with awesome content creators, and the question was, what are your thoughts on aliens?
Uh-huh.
And
I was
so
there.
I want, yeah, Jesse
I don't
gave a great
know.
response. Jesse
Yeah.
was like, my
I
grandma's an
Most
alien. I
brilliant
was like,
response I think out of everybody is
nice.
what I
Well, I said, I think my cousin is illegal alien.
Oh
think.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's right.
That's right.
That's
I
right,
was a
man.
little nervous up there. I didn't know I was gonna go up there
Yeah, they
until
didn't
like
tell
right,
anybody really.
which is better.
Oh yeah.
The alien stuff is wasn't really prepared. Um,
Right.
the alien stuff is a big psyop in a lot of ways, connected to the Clintons and the Rockefellers and
Mm.
MK Ultra. There's a great article by Matt Ehret called "What the Clintons, the Rockefellers, and MK Ultra Have in Common," and
Mm.
that really broke me out of like my hypnosis spell. Not to say that there's not some strange stuff going on, but on a mainstream level, the government telling me that aliens exists and telling me to microdose, I think is all part of a agenda to create a new belief system for some sort of theosophy type alien religion
Mm.
for the future. Maybe not for everybody, but some Scientology type religion for some people, because people love alien stuff.
Yes, they do.
So I'm very unpopular. Like I said in the beginning, like I had popularity for a minute when I was talking crap about the lockdowns, but then the Kanye West crushed my viewer rate. I think I lost 2/3 of my audience
Whoa.
just because I'm Jewish. Like literally, like
Whoa.
that is so pretty much that.
Really?
Then I tell people not to do drugs and not to do shrooms,
And
so
then,
I lost even more.
yep.
And then I'll tell them aliens are fake, and then damn, I lost them all. So I'm like not as big anymore. Whatever.
It's meant to be, you know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
meant
Well,
to
you
be,
you got
like
the true
whatever.
remnants, man. The true ones that really support you. And really, at the end of the day, dude, that's all we care about. And that's what I think what we should only care about is that if there's people that are gonna want to listen to us and respect our values and our ideas and our opinions, man, then come hang out with us twice a week.
But
So
I got the recipe. I got the recipe for a successful channel.
Right.
Just say talk about the Jews and aliens working together while you and take these drugs and take these drugs, you're gonna go viral
Oh, no
wow.
doubt. No
and be
doubt.
rich. If you
Yeah.
want to be rich, you want power and celebrity fame. This is the alchemical process of
Interesting.
going viral.
Yeah.
It's true though,
It
like it's
is.
true.
It is. You're absolutely right, man. You're right, dude. You're so right, man. Well, brother, it's been an awesome time hanging out with you, man. And what we do
Me
with our
too.
guests, man, at the end of the show, we just give you however much time you need. But if there's any message you want to give to the audience, on your way out, this is the time, that you have.
Don't do drugs. Go to Donut, DOENUT. Very nice.
Very nice. That's awesome, man. But yeah, and is there anywhere else like where can they support you the most?
You can support me by going to my YouTube channel and subscribing, and it's called Donut Factory, and I spell that DOENUT. Donut.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So what we do at the end of the show, man, is we just say a little quick prayer, man, and we'll go into the next segment after this. But Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for getting us here safely and keeping the internet nice and strong. Just pray that you be with all of us, be with us on our journeys, and keep us safe. and just continue to speak truth through us and to expose the darkness that is out there in the world. And we love you in your name. Amen.
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 Thank you. That
But
was
brother,
beautiful.
that was awesome, man. I appreciate you. You're a strong player in the community, and it's a blessing to have you on the show. And it's
Thank you.
it's
You
not
too.
it's the first,
Both of you.
it's the first, but hopefully not the last. Man. So there's
For
gonna be
sure. For
so many
sure.
more things out there that we've got to talk about, and I'd love to get you on the show again. But with all that said, we're gonna
God bless both of you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thanks, brother.
right on, buddy. We're gonna go right into the next segment. The biblical hitman debrief. Donut. Appreciate you coming on the show, brother. Love your stuff. Great content, folks. Go check out his channels and all the other areas that he plugged, for the audience. But man, what a great show! I'm finally glad that we got to do something talking about symbolism and
Right.
the technocratic takeover and
And he's the guy for it,
transhumanism.
man.
Great guy for it, man. Great guy. Just great guy in general. We actually got to hang out with him in person. Bohemian Grove. It was a lot of fun, man. And that's the cool thing about the community that we're in, and so much networking going on. We're all really kind of coming together and sharing just the knowledge that we have, a little bit of our journeys to each other. And what it does is it really kind of just makes the painting come together, right?
Yeah.
Little by little
Oh,
by
yeah.
little. We all know a little of a lot. And, when we sit down for a couple hours, man, we really get to dialogue and share a lot of great topics. And we come to more conclusions and have better understanding of things, right?
Yeah.
And I love that because we share that with you folks. We share that with the audience. And, great episode. I loved that one, folks. If you liked that one, drop it in the comments. Give me a number one, because that was number one.
That was number one.
That
I'm
was
like, wait,
so
let's give us a
stupid.
5-star. But
Yeah.
hey, dude, his prediction though of like what's going on right
Oh
now, and
yeah.
he thinks there's going to be a Black Swan event happening between now and August 11th. What?
Right. I hope my house gets done faster. And so, I could just get out of the city, get onto some land,
Right.
and just start becoming more connected with nature, start gardening, start raising
Yeah.
some
You got a
animals, some
big piece of
chickens.
land there, buddy.
Big piece of land. If you want to try and come to my property, understand you got to run about 700 feet to get to my house, and that's another 700 feet you have to run a ways. And
Yeah.
it's a prairie. It's
Yeah.
wide out in the open. There's no cover.
And by the way,
I'm not saying anything.
if you go onto his property within that 700 feet that you first go on, you might run into a big black bull with horns, literally.
Yeah.
So
And a lot of cow poop.
dude, we visited Stevie's property while we were out there for Bohemian Grove, and we just went to stop by. And we showed up, and there's this just massive bull just roaming around his front yard. And it's not supposed to be there.
Oh, I know.
It just got loose. It's so crazy.
Oh my goodness. And that was from the neighbor's property. That wasn't even from my property.
Oh, man.
Which I think the bulls on my property are a little crazier.
Are they?
Yeah, they get, when a bull looks at you and its natural facial tone is completely muscular and it looks pissed off at you,
dude.
and it's got
Dude.
muscles in its eyebrows, back away.
Yeah.
Back away.
He was chilling
do
though.
it.
He was just roaming around. He's grazing a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
he's just roaming
checking
around,
it
jumping
out.
around. He's like 800-pound dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that guy was probably upwards of north of 800.
Oh,
for
he was
sure.
probably 1,200.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think so.
he's probably
Yeah, he was a big
1,200,
boy.
which is almost, some small vehicles weigh that much, folks. But,
Oh.
and I tell you what, folks, if you tuned in with us this long, we appreciate you. We love you. We want to see you come back. If you want to support our show, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, like the show, share it with your friends, drop a comment down below. If there's any thoughts that you had pertaining to this episode that we didn't mention, throw it in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts. It's the only way that we get to talk with our community, other than through email and stuff. And shout out to the folks that have been, touching base with me on email. I love that. And it's about building a community, building friendships, and really just coming together, like-minded people, so we can fight this evil in this world. And that's what it's about. And another area, folks, you can support us as well. Support us on audio platforms. Support us on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. While you're there, 5-star reviews only, folks. 5-star reviews
Bang,
only.
bang.
And drop a follow while you're there. Hit that notification button. We drop 2 episodes a week, but we may drop a 3rd one. You don't even know. That's why you got to hit the notification button, folks. But with all that said, we love you. We gonna see you next time.
See you.